Good morning, everyone, and welcome to ShortSalePowerHour.com. My name is Fred Weaver. I'm here with Coach Collard again.
What's up, baby?
Kevin Kauffman's in the background. We're with Group 4610, Arizona's premier short sale team. Coach, earlier this week I shared an article with you that actually came courtesy of one of our viewers out there by the name of Roger. Shout out to you, Roger. We're glad you're watching, and we appreciate everything you're doing at Keller Williams Realty International. The article
in Austin, where the Longhorns live.
The article was from a major, national publication. I don't even remember the name. That's how much I don't care about who wrote it.
Right on.
But it's the contents of the article that I wanted to discuss with you here today, Coach Collard. The article was applauding Wells Fargo for actually going in and reducing the principal loan amount on some homeowners' mortgages and their loan balances from a previous Wachovia portfolio. Okay. For those of you that don't know out there, Wachovia was bought up by Wells Fargo within the last, probably 12 to 16 months, somewhere in that ballpark. And essentially the article was referencing that Wells Fargo was reducing the principal balance as much as 20 to 30% on these loans. And from the natural eye, that sounds really attractive. And some of you at home, the reason we're talking about this today, I know this is Short Sale Power Hour and we're talking about some loan modifications, if you will, but this has a direct impact on our business as well as the consumers and the people out there you're talking to and what they think is real and not real. So. Yeah. Coach, can you share with us a little bit? I think there's more going on behind the scenes. In fact, I know there is. Yeah, I'd like you to share some more with us around that article.
There's definitely more there, and let me reference for those real estate agents that are wanting content for doing their short sales. The reason we bring stuff like this to light is simply so we can inform you at another level. The stuff that's going on in the outback, which is where everything's not what it seems, is actually what's relevant to closing a short sale, not what the bank says, because they basically are just selling ideas. They're not real. So bringing that down to a reality, if you know what Wachovia was doing a lot of the option arms. Mm-hmm. Now they changed the name on it and they created a pick-a-pay payment and stuff like that. But an option arm is historically known as a negative amortization loan. Mm-hmm. What it was is that every month it gave you four payment options. It gave you a fully indexed rate option at 30 years, at 15 years, a fully indexed rate at interest only, and then a less than interest only, which basically was the teaser rate that they would sell for a year at a time at like 1%, 1.25%. So what's happening with all these loans that they're portfolioing with Wells Fargo and that they're going to reduce the principal on by 30%, in the last 2, 3, 4 years, that value in the principal in the first place has already gone up 20 or 30%.
Well, why would it have gone up, Coach? Wouldn't have most of the folks that got that loan, maybe chose the 15-year option or the 30-year option to pay that loan off in full?
Are you kidding me? Come on, guys. We know for a fact that the credit reporting techniques from the lenders as well was specifically to only show the minimum payment, which is the 1.25% payment.
We used to encourage people from a perspective of getting a loan and being able to qualify for more properties to choose the option arm loan program from the premise that the payment amount that actually showed up on your credit report was the smallest payment amount, below the interest-only payment in most situations.
Right. So if your 30-year payment was $1,500 and you were renting the property for $1,400, that property wouldn't cash flow. But because of the technique of the lenders reporting the minimum payment, it showed like a $642 payment on your credit report. So you could show that you were cash flowing $800.
The good old days when the
lenders just made stuff up.
Absolutely.
And we followed suit.
Absolutely. And now they're slapping hands for that kind of stuff, the stuff they created.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at yourself first, guys.
But what I want to point out there, guys, is understand that these option arm loans, these pick-a-payment loans, the majority of them people actually made the minimum payment on, which in most cases was less than the interest-only payment.
And if you're making less than interest-only, understand that when your interest-only payment's here and you're making less than that, you're creating what's called negative amortization. It's going to add to your principal. So annually, at the end of the year, if you deferred, let's say $14,000, your principal balance went up by $14,000 every year.
You could have a loan that says $200,000, but because you were making such low payments, the minimum payment, your balance by the end of the year, as Coach said in his example, could be $214,000.
And on the fact that these are based on 5-year recast requirements, it's almost like a 5-year arm. They set up to recast after 5 years, so it's a short-term loan. It's designed that way. So after 5 years, guess what your principal balance is? Like $249,000.
So here's our conversation, guys. What you have to understand is that on a $200,000 loan, you could have taken that loan up to $240,000 or $260,000. The loan could have been more than the home was even worth at the time.
Right.
So what Wells Fargo's gone in and done is now all they're doing is chopping the principal down on the loans 20 to 30%. They're basically
we're
chopping
waiving your principal. No, they're not. They're getting rid of the original negative amortization.
They're chopping the loan amount down to pretty much what it initially was. And for those of us that understand that values have declined in the last few years, those of us that are wise enough to actually understand that would know that, for example, in the Phoenix area, a $200,000 home today is worth $100,000 to $120,000.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Wells Fargo, for chopping my principal loan balance back down to $200,000 on the home that I owe $100,000 or $120,000 on.
Right.
That is very attractive of you. I really appreciate that.
Again, dysfunctional solutions for a dysfunctional market based on nothing's ever what it seems. If you know what, I dare everybody out there, starting with real estate agents and yes, banks. Y'all are watching this. I understand you are. Get your head out, talk to your VP, and start making some real productive, functional business decisions. Just close short sales. Get over yourself.
Yeah, that's for you too, Ryan at US Bank. That was for you. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
But yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, we'll get into that story maybe on an Effed Up Friday someday. That would be an enjoyable story for you out there. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you guys got some real content out there. The summary of today's episode, guys, is don't believe everything you hear and be knowledgeable and up to date on what's happening in the market so that as you're talking to prospective short sale clients, you can set them straight on what their real options are.
Absolutely.
So they don't get lost going down some rabbit trail with the banks. Great story of we're going to reduce your principal balance and their home ends up going to foreclosure in the end. Okay? So, as we like to always end them,
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Short sale power hour. Short sale power hour. Crush it.